Hi there, it's Chloe from the Riverscapes Assessment and Monitoring Laboratory, and in this video, I'm going to be going over how to apply zoom-based sizing to point geometries in QGIS. So this layer right here does not have any of the zoom-based sizing applied. It looks fine from this zoomed out view. The problem happens when we start to zoom in. So let's zoom in down here and see what things look like. So as we zoom in, the points get smaller and smaller, and they are much harder to see. But there is something that we can do about that. So let's look at this layer here, which has zoom-based sizing applied. At this zoomed out view, nothing looks very different. But let's zoom in on this same area and see the points are still very much visible as we zoom in, which is what we want. So let's zoom back out and go back to this layer and apply the zoom-based sizing. Okay, let's open up the properties pane. I'm already on the symbology tab, but you might need to switch to it. Since this layer has the same point sizing across classes, then we can actually do top-level symbol editing by clicking here. And the first step is to adjust point size and size units. So I'm happy with how these are. After we apply the zoom-based sizing, these will be grayed out, so you won't be able to edit them, so you're going to want to edit them first. To the right here is this data defined override button. So if you click it and then click edit, this will let you add an expression. So this opens up the expression builder. This is probably, hopefully, sort of familiar by now. So I'm going to go and copy and paste in the expression that we use. Okay, here is this expression. Let's go through it a little bit and then we can see what the result is. So this first statement, when at zoom level, so this is just checking what zoom level your QGIS is in. So when it's less than 10, then point size will be 0.6. So when zoom levels are smaller than 10, which means that you're more zoomed out, point size is just going to stay static. Other than that, so if zoom level is greater than 10, then you're gonna have a base size of 0.6, the same number that's here. And then added to this 0.6, it's gonna take the zoom level minus 10. So if the zoom level is 11, then 11 minus 10 is 1. And then multiply it by this 0.3 value. So for every zoom level greater than 10, point size is going to increase by 0.3. So if zoom level is 15, 15 minus 10 is 5, times 0.3, oh, I'm doing math on the fly again, 1.5 or something, and that will be added to 0.6, and that will become a point size. So I'm going to click OK, OK, and I'm going to apply these changes. As you can see, not much changed here, but let's zoom in and see what happens. Since we did top level symbol editing, it should be applied throughout. Actually, first, let me show you what it looks like now. So this data defined override button has switched to be this epsilon symbol to show that we have an expression applied. And this box here has now become grayed out. I can't edit it. If you apply the expression first and then need to edit your point size, you can temporarily deactivate the expression, and now this becomes edited, and then I can click activate again. However, if I leave this symbol settings pane after deactivating, then QGIS won't remember and it will just get rid of the expression. All right, let's see how things have changed. Let's zoom back in here. And great, our points are still visible as we zoom in, which is what we want. So another helpful feature is that once you've applied an expression, you can copy and paste it between layers. So I wanted to have the same sizing in another layer, I can hit copy here. And then if I open up another layer, I can top level symbol editing, or I can choose a single symbol and I can paste it. So that definitely makes things quicker when you're working on a lot of layers at once. And let's also look at a more complicated example. As you can see here, the point sizes are actually different between classes. So this white 0% class is a lot smaller of points because we want those symbols with that attribute value to kind of disappear into the background. So let's look at the expression on this one. I'm just going to click and click edit to look at it. So we can see that our base size is now 0.25 instead of 0.6. And for every zoom level above 10, we're going to add 0.1 to this 0.25. And we can look at what this looks like as we zoom in. Again, the points stay pretty small. They also have some slight transparency applied, so they fade away even more. But looking next to these points, you can see the difference in sizing. So it's possible to have different size points between classes and still achieve this zoom-based sizing. And if you want to try different sizes, then what you'll do is adjust this base value and then also the value of what is added on to the base value for each increased zoom level past 10. We also use this same technique on rule-based layers. This is a little bit more of a complicated example, but it works the exact same way. So you can see these points, they all have the same sizing, and then this point is smaller. Again, double clicking on it and scrolling down, you can see that we have this expression applied, and we can check the sizing. This has the same small point sizing as the white points in the proportion vegetation metrics. One last thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, let's go back to our first example. This size that is set here is what is shown in the layer panel on your legend. So right now these points are kind of small, so it would make sense to make them a little bit bigger. And for that, you just change the size here by deactivating the expression, changing the size, and then reactivating the expression while you're still in the symbol selector panel, or else it'll forget. So hopefully now you feel confident and comfortable applying zoom-based sizing to point geometry in QGIS. And there will be 2 other videos going over how to do the same process in ArcPro and also with web symbology.